Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at Chainlink, see what's going on. I get a lot of requests for this one in my community, so we'll try to make it a regular coverage here. So it's been just a couple days since I last looked at it, but as per our last analysis, it was supposed to come back down, bounce off that support range, which it mostly did. We saw a pretty aggressive wick down to about the low $20 mark, upper 19s, but it recovered quickly. And this is actually a very normal pattern in trading. You'll notice more specifically in crypto, just based on how greed works. We can see the accumulation phase here, where basically smart money is accumulating a lot of Chainlink. The price pulls back down for this manipulation wave, and then of course they pump it right back up here for the expansive wave. It's pretty consistent. You will see this a lot in trading. Again, power of three. It's just one of those things where that's why liquidation levels exist, and for the most part, that's why we like to look at them too, because it kind of correlates with these ranges, and you can see the price action commonly hitting those levels. So it's a very fascinating thing, but it's par for the course. Okay, so nothing abnormal. Either way, congrats on those who got in and bought that dip effectively. And let's see if it's worth taking a long right now, or if the price is going to pull back. Is it worth taking a short? I'm going to generally say do not short this coin. I'm saying that mostly with majority of coins last 24 to 48 hours, because the market isn't telling us there's any indication it wants to turn around. Bitcoin's maintaining very well at the 100 to 101.5 mark, and I think if Bitcoin stays above 100,000, most altcoins will continue to surge and do very well. So Chainlink is definitely one of those. Let's take a look here at liquidation levels first and kind of go from there. Sorry, let me pull up this one last chart here, because open interest is an important factor as well. Holy cow. Okay, sorry. Spelling is not a strong suit for the moment. Let's take a look here. All right, so back-end data, last 7 days here, we can kind of recognize that there's liquidation levels about $29.50, upwards of $30. More locally, we can see $28.50. Basically, accumulations of liquidation, folks, it's generally going to be just above local highs. So our local high here is $28.50, and the local the more macro high, so to speak, is $29.50. So we're going to see those areas there. So easy numbers, $28.50, $29.50 is roughly where we're seeing some accumulation. What we want to do is probably look at the last 12 hours, because it does help to see kind of what the price action looks like a little closer here. It's a little easier to identify. So let's take a look here and see. Generally speaking, there's a decent chunk again at this 28. It's actually 28.60. Correction, $28.60 to $29. We can see a good chunk of liquidation there. We also got this lower range here below, low as 27. Now the reason why this is relevant is because if the price continues much lower and breaks $28, we may see that $27 level get hit. But if the price bounces and recovers, holds strong there, we got a nice little range that we're working within. We can recognize the price may be lower, likely to continue higher. We'll look at some patterns on the charts, but it's important to recognize that the overall trend right now is up. We got a lot more money flowing into this coin, and more importantly, we've got a lot more liquidation to the upside than the downside. In other words, there's more longs that have liquidation levels than shorts. So that kind of tells us that there's more people buying this coin than selling it, or at least attempting to buy than attempting to sell. So that's a good sign overall. If we look at open interest, we can recognize here that the heavier concentrations of liquidation, heavier concentrations of open interest is right here at about $27. That's where people have the most amount of interest in this coin. And the good news is that it reinforces that support. So that does kind of reiterate and reinforce the fact that if we come down as low as $27, that should be the tentative bottom. Okay, so let's take a look and see what that means for us on the chart. And the reason why it's important to recognize those things is because the local high here it seems pretty obvious to me, is this level here where we got $26.60 to $27. This little range is we got to give it a chance to retest and continue higher, because SUI, for example, has a very similar pattern where it broke its all-time high. It's coming back down to retest its local high. We got to give that a chance to be able to bounce in order for us to feel confident in either direction it's heading. In other words, if the price were to pull back to this $26.60, $27 range, then there's a stronger likelihood we see the price action consolidate and bounce, because it's really common for previous highs to work as new lows. Okay, so that's why you want to give a trend line or a support level a chance to prove itself, right? So hypothetically, along at 27, 26.60 would seem sensible at this point. However, you got to recognize too, we have a nice little, this is almost like a pennant type of pattern that's forming, and that's a good sign too. It could just mean the price isn't going to come back down, it'll go higher. Let's look at the daily and work our way down instead of speculating here. And let's go ahead and just double check a few things. We're above the 20-day SMA. This macro trend line is working very strong. That's a very, very good sign. We're testing 70 on the RSI. If we break through that, I think we're likely to continue much higher and start getting into some price discovery, at least within the last year. Okay, I mean, we're already kind of there, but depends on how you look at it. Let's see, I got this red. See, is that the weekly close? Was that what that is? Sorry, hold on a second. I think I had that out there for a reason. Generally, I like, oh, there we go. It's a monthly. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is we got a monthly candlestick closure at about $30. So we can kind of recognize that $30 is a tentative resistance as well. Just kind of throwing it out there. It's not a guarantee, but we saw about 4 months here back in 21. It's a long time ago, where the price action essentially couldn't pass that level. And you're probably rolling your eyes right now thinking, oh, yeah, what's 3 years have to do with now? The truth is that level was a pretty consistent 4-month period where people couldn't get it past that level. And since then, it hasn't occurred yet. So until we break above that, we can presume it's a resistance. It's just how it works. The larger the time frame candlestick closures, the more significant of resistance or support. So daily time frame is looking pretty good here, though, folks. There's no other way around it. Got a MACDFU, stochastic swinging up, RSI right there at 70. Once we break above that, it should continue to run. So my anticipation here would be to try to get in at roughly $27 if it were to pull back, and take a long up to the $30 range or higher. Okay. Again, just different strategies for different folks. I like to look for small little movements in the market. I don't go super long or super crazy with my longs. While we secure a decent amount of profit, I like to cash out fairly early. My swing trades may last 24 hours upwards of a full week. That's usually the overall concept there. Anyways, speaking of which, actually throw it out there too. Congrats to our community. We took a nice Bitcoin long from 99.6 to 101.5. So that was a nice little profit target there from yesterday. Chainlink is potentially going to enter that consideration for a long, though. Let's take a look here at the 4-hour time frame. Recognize we are above all moving averages. We're right there at 70 on the RSI. Money flow index is still high. MACD's converging, stochastic's trying to swing down. So we got some conflicting information, but most of it's positive. Just kind of reinforcing that the resistance here at $29 based on that local fib level, which I will update our fibs here, by the way. And I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Looks like this if you're not familiar, where I kind of just give you insight on coins that I cover and kind of let you know my thoughts. All right, so I'll post that here soon. Oh, also, don't forget to check out Bitunix, folks. 12K deposit bonus this month. They are awesome. Use my link to register so you're eligible for future benefits. When we take a look here, though, we can see the 4-hour time frame. My personal opinion, it looks pretty strong. Okay. Again, the price does pull back. $26.60, $27 seems like a practical consideration for long, just based on how obvious we had this resistance range here. Okay, it was a pretty strong resistance range. Hourly time frame we can recognize here as well. That's all green lights to leave your long position open. Do not consider shorting this coin. Again, a lot of patterns do play out this way. This does look like the beginning of a potential flag as well. Again, it looks very, very similar to SUI's price action, which is a good sign. I mean, in fact, it's dang near identical minus the way in which the price action pulled back. So this is a good thing here. I would say, again, consideration for $27 for a long would be practical at this point. It's hard for me to want to take a long right now. Personally, that's just me. I really don't like buying the top. I'm not a breakout trader, and statistically, breakout traders have pretty low success rate. So I'd much rather wait for a bullish backtest of a reinforced resistance level as a support than I would just jumping into a coin that's taking off. But again, that's just me personally. Everyone has different different results. Results may vary. Anyways, the hourly time frame is good, folks. So we got 9 out of 10 reasons why a long position makes more sense than a short. And at this point, reinforcing the simple fact that 27 to 26.60 mark is a pretty obvious area of consideration for the price action to maybe consider a long. So those are just my thoughts here with Chainlink. Unless pending Bitcoin doesn't take a massive dump here, I think Chainlink will maintain this range, likely continue higher to retest that $30 mark. So hypothetically, we've got a good 6.5% increase from here, or more importantly, a good 10 to 12% increase from $27. Again, if you're going to consider securing profits on a long, somewhere in the $30 range or just below $30 would make sense. Okay. Again, that's just based on macro resistances too. Cool. All right. Thanks again for watching. We look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.